to today's gardening. I'm Amy Ivy with Cornell Cooperative Extension, and this week we're going to talk about perennial flower gardens. So perennial flowers are those that come up every year. You plant them once and they come up year after year. So they're a lot of fun because you can do all the work and then sit back and kind of enjoy all the fruits of your labors there. But one of the downsides to perennial flowers is they only stay in bloom for a few weeks. So as you look around a garden, you'll notice that some are in bloom and look gorgeous, some haven't bloomed yet, and some have finished blooming and don't look their best anymore. So we're going to talk today. I'll tell you about the names of the different flowers in this garden, and then I'm going to give you some tips on how to cut back perennials after they've bloomed so they still look good the rest of the summer. Here we go. This one, this bright yellow one here, is called evening primrose. They also call it sundrops because it blooms in the middle of the day, and you can see how bright and beautiful it is. It's just about finished. One of the things I like about this is the brilliant color, and then in the fall it turns a really nice kind of orangey red. The leaves have a really nice color. But if you look at how it's growing here, it really is aggressive. It's one of the drawbacks to this one, and I actually hesitate to recommend this one sometimes to new gardeners, because if you can see, I kind of didn't corral it too well this year, and it's growing into everything around it. So that's one drawback to the evening primrose. Over here is a kind of catmint. This one is called Walker's Low, and you can see it's about middle size. It's not a low growing plant. Walker's Low refers to the place, a place where it was first developed, not to the size of the plant. Bees love this plant. It's in the sage and mint family. So it's really a nice one. This has been blooming for a long time. It's one of the longer blooming perennials out there. I really love this one. This is actually a weed. It's called fleabane, but I really like it a lot. It's a wildflower. People call, a weed is a plant growing where you don't want it to, so it's a wildflower. Back here is Helenium, and this one blooms really late. This one blooms in September. So again, we have the different times of bloom. There's some September bloom here. There's July bloom with the echinacea and the phlox, and then right now in earlier July we've got the evening primrose blooming. So you want to kind of juggle things around. The other thing that's really neat about perennials is they need to be divided to grow well. You have to always, every few years, dig them up, cut them into smaller pieces and replant them. So it gives you a chance to rearrange things. So if you decide, oh, I really don't like the yellow next to the blue, which I think is actually a nice combination, but if you didn't like it, that would be your opportunity. You could dig it up. You'd actually be helping the plant by digging it up and dividing it, and then you could put it in a whole different part of your garden. Or you'd have more of it. You could multiply it and put it in more places throughout your garden. I love peonies. One of the things I really like about them is they have such a beautiful flower when they're in flower, but they're not very attractive right now. They're just finishing up. This is kind of a neat one, what they call a semi-double. It had a whole lot of anthers in the middle and then just a ring of petals around the outside. So it was pink on the outside and yellow actually in the center. But it doesn't look good now. So I really need to do some aggressive pruning right now so that it'll really look pretty for the rest of the summer. Because if you look, the leaves are beautiful. They're glossy green. They don't usually have much insect damage or leaf spots on them. So by getting rid of the ugly spent flowers, this plant will actually be a nice addition to the garden the rest of the summer. So the trick is, what a lot of people do is they just take out the dead flowers and they don't go down far enough. See, I just took those out. And what I left are the ugly stub. And when you look at this plant now, what you see is the stub. So what I want to do instead is go way down deep. Go down pretty far and make my cut down there. And then the other leaves now come in and cover over where I made that cut. So now what you have left is a really nice area of nice glossy green leaves and nothing unattractive at all. I'm almost done. And you can see now how nice now it's a beautiful plant in the garden. It really adds a nice backdrop to other things that are going to be in bloom. Now I said that most perennials only bloom once a year and that's all you get. But Delphinium, one of the things I really like about Delphinium, not only are they just an amazing flower, I mean look at how tall it is, the beautiful color. They make a bold statement in the garden, but this is a real trick with Delphinium is as soon as these flowers fade, take the entire flower stalk all the way down to the ground, take the whole thing out, cut it down, and you'll think you've killed the plant. There will be hardly anything left. But if you take it all the way down, it'll regrow and you'll get a second bloom. I've never Every year I've gardened, and it's been a long time now, I've never not gotten that second bloom from my Delphinium, even if the weather has been kind of funky that year. So cut it down, and the nice thing with the rebloom is it's shorter. It's a little more compact. It doesn't flop around quite so much. So it's really kind of like a bonus bloom you get with Delphinium, and the plant's going to look a whole lot better for it too. So with a little bit of care, your perennial garden can look really good all summer long. So I'll see you next time on Today's Gardening.